So after the Sixers finalized their trade on Monday, the Lakers go ahead and make a move. You just couldn't let us have it, could you, Magic? You're just too jealous. You wanted Markelle Fultz, you didn't get him because we beat you to the punch, and then you go off and make a move. So it looks like the Lakers have completed a trade with the abysmal Brooklyn Nets, essentially the Cleveland Browns of the NBA, and acquired Brook Lopez for D'Angelo Russell, Timothy Mozgov, and the 27th overall pick in this year's draft. And I like this move. I mean, this just shows me this is a salary dump. It looks like the Lakers, it's a clear sign that they're going to take Lonzo Ball, because I don't know if they thought that Lonzo and D'Angelo could really play together. D'Angelo sees himself more of a point guard rather than a two. They tested D'Lo out this year at the two. I guess it really didn't work out. And the Lakers get a big man. And this just all points to also them going after Paul George and LeBron James in after the 2018 season, 2017-2018 season. They're clearing all the cap space they can. I mean, Timothy Mozgov was a huge contract off their books. He signed a $64 million deal last year, I believe it was. So he's on the books for the next couple years till 2021. So, the Nets are going to have to deal with that. And D'Lo is still on his rookie deal, so that's not really that much cap space off there. But it gives Brooklyn, it gives Brooklyn a little bit of youth in their lineup. That's all they really have. Since they've made that awful trade with the Celtics, they really haven't been able to build their team. And Brook Lopez was the last thing they could really have to get some youth rejuvenation on that team and even maybe some talent. So, it's interesting to see, and we're kind of intertwined with this. So this is why I'm kind of doing this video, and I also want to start doing more national news as opposed to just all Philly sports. But this kind of has to do with us too, since the Lakers pick kind of hinges on the Celtics or ours, what they do next season, I should say. With that picks protection being from 2 to 5. It looks like they're going to improve, not drastically, but they've got more talent. Brook Lopez is only 29 years old. He's a very good center. He's a good rebounder. He can block shots. He's a pretty good shooter. He can stretch out and hit the three, but he's more along the 15 to 18-foot jumpers. He can hit that elbow jumper. He's got an okay post move. He's just very unathletic. But they've got a youth movement, and I think the Lakers could make a push here. Not that they are going to tear up the West or anything, but I don't think that pick is really going to convey to us next year, and that's fine. I'd rather the Celtics keep that pick and us get the Sacramento pick, because I think that has more value. So if they get that pick from 2 to 5, it goes to the Celtics, and we get the Sacramento pick. There was a ton of protections in that pick last year, or for next year, and then the year after that when we traded for Markelle Fultz this year. Well, what's going to turn into Markelle Fultz? So it's kind of interesting to see what the Lakers are going to do, because it hinges on what the Sixers are going to be able to do with their future then. So the Nets, bums, they get a little bit of youth. D'Angelo Russell's probably going to leave there after his contract's up in 2 years, and you're going to have to deal with Mozgov's money. And I think the Nets have a ton of cap space anyway. But this is kind of like a one-year deal to see what Brook Lopez can do too, because he's a free agent after this year. He's making $22 million, and after this year he's a free agent. But I think the Lakers should probably stick around and pick him. I think he's going to improve their team. He's a really, really good center, and he's right around his prime. He's solid. He's been rotting away there at New Jersey and then Brooklyn for years. But I really hope they do okay. They do somewhat bad, so the Celtics get that pick, because it's a slew of big men next year. And I'd rather have that Sacramento pick for next year. So, there you go. Magic's making some moves. So, this is Kyle Gaffner with the Bitter Birds. I'm going to start answering questions here, because I always see them popping up. So, sorry, guys. I don't try to ignore them, but they pop up and they kind of distract me from what I'm trying to do in my next thought. But I'll be trying to answer those soon. Yeah, it was a good trade for the Lakers, I agree. They dumped two guys that they're probably not, that wasn't in their future. I mean, Timothy Mozgov has just been riding the bench and getting paid all that money. I mean, I thought it was a bad signing for them getting Luol Deng, too. They were throwing all this money. I mean, they were just trying to do what the Yankees did and do what the Lakers did in past. Just try to buy talent, get people in the seats because of how abysmal they've been. Random question. Mavericks fans are here. See them picking at 9. It depends who really falls to them, really. Frank Nikita, or however you say his name, that European or that French point guard, he might be there. I could see them even going Malik Monk. You guys got Nerlens Noel. I think you're going to re-sign him. So they're in a bit of a youth movement, too. It's Dirk's last year. They got to get some talent over there. I could see them going Malik Monk or even Lauri Markkanen if he falls. Yeah, I think it's going to be Monk or Nikita. Seth Greenberg says Fultz doesn't play defense. Your thoughts? It's not his strength. I think that's probably the weakest point of his game. So, but that's okay because Brett Brown can really teach guys how to play. When Covington came over here, he wasn't the greatest defensive player. He was really just known for his shooting. And look what he's done. He's become one of the best lockdown perimeter players on the team and in the league, I think. So I think Brett can coach that up. He's got really long arms. He can really do it. Sixers, Ibaka. I wouldn't mind taking a flyer on Ibaka. He can hit that corner three. He's a shot blocker, so it's always good to have a multitude of shot blockers on your team, I think. So I wouldn't making a move on Ibaka. It depends how much money he would. And I wouldn't be paying him a crazy amount of money. I think that's what he's going to want to demand. But I'd take a flyer on him. Did D'Lo trade me Lonzo? Yeah, I think so. I really think they're going after Lonzo Ball. I think all signs point to them really taking Lonzo. So it looks like LeVar gets his wish. Yep, J.J. Redick, I think we're going to go after him. I think it's a good move for the Sixers. You get a veteran. He's a knockdown shooter. I'd take a 1 or 2 year deal. I'm not paying him any crazy amount of money either because he's had a lot of injuries. And he's getting a little older. I think he's 33 now. But I think that's what you have to really surround our team with now is shooters. I think they might consider Fox for the Laker and Lopez pick and roll. That wouldn't be a bad move because I really like Fox. Otto Porter's a great fit. I agree. I've been wanting Otto Porter for a long time. I hope we make an offer to him. But I think the Wizards are going to match it. Yeah, I do think we are going to make the playoffs this year. Maybe a 7th seed. It all hinges on if we can stay healthy. If Embiid can stay and play, 70 games, we have to see that first. 2-year deal, Ibaka. How much a year? For Ibaka, I think he's really going to probably demand 20 a year. And if that's the case, I'm not paying it at all. For me, I'd probably do maybe like $8 million a year for Ibaka. I mean, he really doesn't dazzle me with his defense anymore. But he's really geared towards playing an offensive player. He's not like he once was when he was with OKC. He's kind of strayed away from that, and it's a shame because I thought that was a real strength of his game. What you think about... Yeah, KCP, he's not bad. I think he's going to demand a lot of money. And now that we get Fultz, I don't know if we really go after KCP. And I don't think the Pistons are going to let him go anyway. It's the best fit for Philly. Sean, I definitely think he is. I definitely think that's why we traded up 2 spots to get him. He was the only real guy in the draft that made sense. Because me and Adrian and all of us were thinking, who are we going to take? Josh Jackson really makes sense. Are we going to reach for... Malik Monk. So, he was really the only guy that made sense because he can play off the ball. He can play point. He's really good at taking going to the 10 and taking contact. I would like Patty Mills. That's the guy I really want for agency. Let's get Patty Mills. He's got that Spurs connection with Brett Brown. He can shoot the lights out from beyond the arc, and he can play even a little point too. Now, it's interesting to see if we do go after another point guard. Does that mean TJ's the odd man out? I kind of hope not because I like him. Are you ready to purchase your Fultz jersey? I already got it, Sean. I already ordered it. I'm ready to go. Any chance Sixers pick Ball over Fultz? No way. Sorry, Clark. It's not happening. Ball's not going number 1. I think Ball's going to be a really good prospect. I think he's the purest point guard in this draft. But his defense worries me. And his ability to score. Yeah, Patty Mills would be real nice, Young Revenue. I really hope we pursue him. But, that's what we really got to do with these shooters. We got to surround and be within shooters, and the way Simmons can facilitate the ball. It's going to be fun on on pick and roll even, or even on the fast break. That's going to be the best part. Because Fultz's strength is, he needs to work on his jump shot. Do you think we have enough assets for Zane God? I don't know, and I don't think so, because I think the Knicks are at the point where they're really ready to rebuild, and it's tumultuous what's happened there. Phil has really dug themselves a hole. Probably $22 million a year for Redick. I wouldn't pay that then if that's what you think. Yeah, it would be funny if the Lakers passed on Ball and went with Fox just to shut LeVar up. But going back to the point of Porzingis, I don't know if we're going to have enough assets. I feel like they're ready to rebuild, and they're going to want a lot of assets to get them. It would be interesting. I wouldn't mind having him on here because I think a stretch four is what we really need next to Embiid. And Porzingis could play that. He can shoot from the outside. He's got a great touch, and he's big. So you'd have two guys that can block shots. And for a guy 7'3", he's pretty athletic. But he's got a great touch on the ball. He can hit the jumper. I just don't think we'd make a play on him depending on how much it's going to cost to get him. But I did read somewhere that we are trying to get back into the lottery. Now, is that possibly trading a couple of them second-round picks and Jahlil Okafor? I don't know if that's going to be enough to jump back into the lottery, but I would try to move Ja and make some room because he just doesn't fit on this team. Yeah, if we can get Okafor to the Knicks, it would love that. Involve him in the Porzingis trade. Done deal. Yeah, Carmelo, too. I just think it's a bad situation what's happened there with Carmelo and KP. I think KP has seen how they've treated Carmelo Anthony, and he just wants out. Plus, they're in such a bad hole. There's another team that's really lacked talent. The teams in New York are just abysmal. They're the two worst franchises next to the Kings in the NBA. And, it's a shame because they've got such high hopes. They are a mess, Young Revenue. I know. They're awful. It looks like Spike Lee's going to have to wait another 10, 15 years for his Knicks to be good again. They haven't been good since 99, but they have so much money, too. So they always spend it on old guys that are pretty much past their career just to try to get people in the seats. Poor Spike, I know. It's a shame. Boo-hoo, right? Poor New York. Is on the market at New York takes. Point guard or Sarge would be traded in the deal, you think? I don't think. If we trade with the Mavericks, I don't know if we trade with the Mavericks again, especially giving them Dario. I think Dario is here to stay. If he was going to be traded, I don't know if he was going to be involved in that trade with the Celtics, so I think he's here to stay. But if we could jump back in, the ninth pick with the Mavericks, I don't really want to give up Dario, though. I'm too much him of being a part of our future. Jahlil Okafor, yeah, you guys can have him. Good to see he's returning to prime this Christmas Day. I know, finally, we're back on prime time, right? If we can get back into the lottery, I think we could definitely make a play for Malik Monk. So I know a couple mock drafts I've seen recently have him falling out of the top 10 and even falling maybe to 11 to 13. You've got. I know the Pistons are trying to move their pick, but they're not going to need any second round picks, and they already have Andre Drummond there. They had Greg Monroe, so that's who kind of Okafor reminds me of. So I don't think that would be a trade partner. If we could try to jump into that range, like 11, maybe even go after a Lauri Markkanen, that would be great. That would be the perfect situation for the Sixers because he would fit perfectly next to Embiid the way he plays his game because he shoots from the outside. He doesn't have great defense, but Embiid could be there to back him up. They're looking to move back in. Yeah, I know. I hope they do. I really hope we try to move back into the first round and grab a shooter. To have Malik Monk and Markelle Fultz would be a dream come true. Nick should hire Sam Hinkie. Yeah, I don't know if the NBA is going to let Sam Hinkie back in the league. He tried to get back with the Kings, and they kind of blackballed him, so to speak. The NBA seems to think Sam Hinkie has ruined what the Sixers have, or what he did. It kind of ruined the NBA, quote-unquote, which I disagree with. They say it's bad for business. I might take a flyer on Dennis Smith, even though I'm not the biggest fan. Depends what it would take. Korkmaz, they've said he's probably going to play in the Summer League, but they don't know if he's going to be coming over anytime soon. They like his shooting. They just don't think his body is NBA ready yet. Do you think Dennis Smith could land to the Mavs at 9? He possibly could. I think he's either going to the Knicks or he's going to the Mavericks. But that screams a Kings pick to me. So I could even see them taking him at 5. Just because of Vlade Divac and how bad of a... what is he, a GM? I don't even know what he is over there. Player personnel. I could see him whiffing and passing on Fox and taking him instead. God, I want Smith to go to the Mavs. He's kind of like the boomer bust draft pick for me. So it will be interesting to see what happens with Dennis Smith. He's got a lot of potential. I just don't see it. I think he's going to be a bust. Isaac, I think he's going to the Magic. Yeah, I could definitely see him going to the Magic. That's a Magic pick. They're really focused on... It's either going to be Isaac at the Magic or Monk. Darren Collison, yeah, he's a bum. I think Fox is their pick, though. They're going to start rebuilding with him out there. Fox and Buddy Hield, so they get their backcourt in a situation. They're just in a really bad situation, though. All right, any more questions before I go out? I'm going to head out, guys. Any last questions? All right, this is Kyle Gaffner with the Bitter Birds, just doing my latest new second-round pick, Dark Horse picks. Oh, man, tough to say. Tough to say, Sean. I mean, there's a lot of guys. I hope Josh Hart, I think he's going to be a dark horse out there. I'd really like for the Sixers to take a flyer on him. Just to have a Nova guy play for our team. He knows how to play basketball. He's got a high IQ. He plays offense, he plays defense, so I'd like to get him. But whoever we get in the second round, I think it's going to be a lot of stash players. We're either going to trade them or they're going to be stash guys. We do need vets. Yeah, we really have to invest this year in some veterans, like a J.J. Redick, or I'd really even like to... They're not going to make a play on the big names like Gordon Hayward, Chris Paul, or any guys like that, Blake Griffin. We're still at least a year or two away. Devin Harris. What? No. You're talking about the guy who used to play for the Mavs? I don't think he's in the league anymore, is he? Well, J.J. Barea is still there, so who knows. All right, guys, I'm going to head out. Any last question? Oh, wow, that's crazy. That's a shame. That's how bad. That just shows you how bad the Mavericks have been over the past couple years. That's a shame. But, yep, this is Kyle Gaffner with the Bitter Birds. You guys have any more questions, just leave it in the comments section, and we'll see what happens. Let's hope for the fingers crossed.